248-539-9797. It is Karsch and Anderson here on 97.1. Hey, the Lions play their final preseason game Saturday night in Indianapolis. Do fans travel for the preseason?
I would imagine that they would. Some would, not like they do in the regular season, like we've seen takeovers. But like when you think of it, Indianapolis is 5 hours away.
Yep.
Buffalo is 4 hours away.
A little closer than that. I know from recent experience.
Woof. There's, you've got some cities that are close by Cleveland. These are teams that would typically play in the preseason, and the Cleveland's only 2.5, 3 hours away. I would imagine that there are fans that would travel to see the team play.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about an average ticket price at Ford Field, I think is like $400. That's what people are paying for tickets. That okay, if I can't do that, then I'd like to go, see something at a much discounted rate and see a preseason game if it's close enough. Unfortunately, you're not getting the real product.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty hardcore to travel for a preseason game, especially if you're getting on a plane.
Well, if you're getting on a plane, yeah, that's a whole other thing. But that's why I say one of the things I love about living in Metro Detroit is the proximity you are from so many big cities within a 6-hour radius. I mean, an easy drive. You've got so many cities. It's not just, it's only 4.5 hours to Chicago. Yeah, I got that.
Yep.
Chicago's great, but and so is Hammond. But look at these other great cities we have.
Yeah, Hammond's even closer.
Yeah, Hammond's even
awesome.
Closer. It's Cincinnati and Cleveland and Buffalo and Toronto. And I mean, there's just a lot around here. Yeah, Pittsburgh, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot.
In this case, Indy. Yeah, no, you're right about that. Feedback coming in. Once this Duran deal gets done, the Asar deal will get done, and then we will know where we are at and make our all-in move. Don't forget that Langdon is an assassin of the Alaskan variety. He will strike when you least expect it.
That's a fact. He is the Alaskan assassin.
So there is some. They are kind of in a similar situation with Brad Holmes in that they've got young guys worth keeping around for a long time. Those guys have to get better. They've got two of those young guys have limited offensive game. They feel like they're worth building around. But between Duran and Asar Thompson, their offensive games are limited. Now, they have an elite scorer and a guy who's emerging as one of the better players in the league, but they need to get a little bit more out of the other two, right? And that's up to them. I mean, what we are asking for these two players to do the most fun part of the game, shoot and score.
Right. And defensively, I mean, Asar is one of the best in the league, and that's why he's going to make money in this league, and that's why he's got so much cachet. He's incredibly valuable to a team that wants to go win a championship. But, yes, he is limited offensively. It looks like there is a ceiling for him, and it's not that high. Duran's a different animal, though. Duran's improved over the years, and it's a guy who's, what did he average last year, 18, 19 points a game?
Mm-hmm.
It was just startling how bad he was for them in the postseason. And you wonder, were you hurt? What happened? I don't think he was hurt. I think his confidence got shook, and then teams just came up with a better plan to limit what the Pistons did, which in the regular season, which was a lot of lob work to him. And now he's going to have to go into the offseason and really work on other parts of his game. But as we've said before, that's the fun part. And the thing with Jalen Duran is what you have to work on. That should be looked at as a positive. Like, okay, this is what I have to look at. I can get better doing that.
From an unnamed texter, why is anyone boggled by Langdon's offseason? He's simply following suit with what all the other GMs in this town do. He sees staying relevant to sell tickets and merchandise works in this town. Championships are not a priority. Welcome to Detroit sports. I got to tell you, this is insulting to the GMs to think that they aren't trying to win a championship. They're not trying to do it the way you would do it. But the one thing that I think is one of the most misinterpreted things in sports is that there's always a great trade out there to be made. All you got to do is make it.
Just make the trade.
It is.
Just go get that guy.
You need a player, first of all, has to be available through free agency or trade. Then you have to have, if it's free agency, that player will have to agree to want to come there. You'll have to have the money to get that guy. If it's a trade, you have to have something that the other team wants that you can afford to give up. In the last couple of years, I think it's a pretty safe assumption that Scott Harris was fielding phone calls when he was trying to make a big trade for Kevin McGonigal, Troy Melton, Max Clark, Jackson Jobe, guys who are going to be cornerstone pieces here, it looks like, for a bit. Now, there's also might be some trades that he turned down that he shouldn't have. But the assumption that, well, Langdon's just following suit, I think it's just absurd and insulting, and I think it's turned into what I think is one of the most misinterpreted things in sports, is that just go make a great trade. There's one out there to be made. Just go make it.
Well, look, in our business, there are things we look for to talk about, and when you have people that make wild predictions about, hey, here's a great fit, here's a great free agent fit, or here's a great trade fit, and then there are actual names thrown to paper, and people read it, and then they assume that must be available to them because I just saw so-and-so talk about it.
Now, when you get credible reporting on a trade, and the one credible report that we had was that Vancouver wanted Simon Edvinsson and stuff for Quinn Hughes, and the Red Wings, for whatever reason, said no. Okay, now what the stuff is really important, and Quinn Hughes' signability is an issue.
It's a huge part of it.
But what that was a chance that I think was a blown opportunity, and we have been critical of Steve Yzerman on that front, assuming that credible report was true, because that was a team that needed to make a big move, that needed to do something to get over the hump, and they didn't because of the long-term feasibility of keeping Quinn Hughes in town. But the bottom line is, it's a chance worth taking because he comes here in the off season. This is where he is. He has played college hockey here, has a familiarity with this place, and you get the upper hand in being the only team that can negotiate with him for 2 years, and they didn't do it. That one feels like a big swing and miss. The rest, without credible reporting, I really struggle with being critical. Like, I guess you could say what you want, but I'm not going to co-sign on that because I got to defend my position, and I don't think you can defend that without knowing what trades were turned down.
Right. I mean, you see that Jaylen Brown gets dealt to the 76ers and the package of players and draft picks. It didn't seem like it was all that impressive. They could have gotten more. Should the Pistons have gotten in on that? I mean, that's the thing, is it's going to be after the fact, and you don't know what was asked of the Pistons. In
some roundabout way, we got 3 GMs in this town that are being punished for drafting so well and having to keep their guys long term. Like the Lions, Pistons, and Tigers all right now have young players that I want to be here for a long time, right? And for those reasons, those are the players that other teams ask for, and those guys have to be, their future contracts have to be accounted for on the books. Baseball's a little different in that there is no salary cap, but I bristle when I see that, and the idea that one influences the other to me is just naive and laughable. But 248-539-9797. Let's go. Actually, tell you what, coming up at 11:50, what the Wings are doing. There's a lot of angst in this most recent report. That at 11:50 on Karsch and Anderson on 97.1.